Alright, we're back with the finale. Holy shit. So it might be Ayame. Holy fuck, dude. Is it Ayame? I guess it is. Fuck. What the fuck? Yuki Maeda blank blank might be. I don't understand. Why would Ayame do that? She has no reason to. And neither does anyone really, so... Sorry, I'm vibing to the song. Let's continue, I guess. Ah, fuck me. Okay. Tyra, among us the word made refers to, or rather, I can't think of anyone but you. Akane. It's really her. You killed Tomori? Now wait a minute, there must be a misunderstanding. I mean something like this. This is too much. Please wait a minute, everyone. I have nothing, I didn't do anything. The dying message was written by a person. The Lord does not lie. As long as the dying message refers to the word made, it has already been revealed. Was it a lie at the beginning of the trial to cover up her crime? No! Tyra, tell me with your own words. Are you really the culprit? Me? I'm not the killer. Akane, why am I the culprit? The dying message may say the word made, but there's a big X next to it. You guys have only interpreted the made and didn't interpret the X after that. An X could literally be an X. Doesn't that mean negative? In other words, it means not the maid, so I'm not the culprit. I don't know yet if what Tyra said is true, but certainly, as she said, we haven't fully decoded the dying message yet. Okay, the X at the end. Well, if you simply look at it, it really looks like it says not the maid, but... If the dying message means not the maid, as Tyra says, I would rather be more suspicious of Tyra. Huh? Why? Don't you think so? Who is the killer? I don't recall seeing messages saying who is not the killer. Seems illogical to write. An innocent one in blood by their own victim. Rather, you would think it's not the maid to take yourself off the suspect list. Hey, doesn't that mean the culprit themselves wrote the dying message? That's right. There's no law saying that dying messages are all true. They can show up in many ways. For example, the killer manipulates the dying message to lead an advantage in the trial. Yeah, maid X as it is, meaning the only one who would benefit from writing that is not a maid would be the maid herself, Tyra. Whether the interpretation of the dying message is this or that, there's no way to avoid the word maid. Kinda, you really are... Is Tyra really the culprit? Can we conclude the case like this? But what is this feeling? Is it my heart screaming? I feel like all of this. It feels so contradictory. Is it okay to end up with Tyra being the culprit? Can I vote now? It'll be painful to do anymore. It'll just be... I just want to end this quickly. Wait. Kurakawa. Obviously, it's true that Tyra was suspicious. Clearly, the way she acted seems questionable. However, there's a problem yet to be solved. What? An unsolved problem? As Kurakawa said, it's too soon to end like this. There must be a cause for this unpleasant feeling. Yeah, a secret that hasn't been solved yet. What is going on? I don't know what is going on anymore. The third flashlight, right? Or the broken flashlights. An unsolved problem. I do not know. Well, what's the point? The dying message is also over. What else is there? Secret of the window is over. Procurement problem has also been solved. Wait a minute, is there anything else remaining as Kurakawa says? Only for murder, you're thinking. Don't you think about the case other than murder? Then not agree, right? Okay, let's wait. Let's wait. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, it is that one. Okay, so it's gotta be. Oh, it's gotta be the wire, right? Because she said the cases other than that. There we go. Tanner's injury. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, right. That's it. Did you find something, Maeda? Guys, I think it's still a little bit early to call Tyra the culprit. What? What do you mean? You're the one that said the dying message had the word maid. About that, I still can't conclude for sure. Thanks to Kurakawa, I could think of something actually. Right after the incident, do you all remember Hateno's injury? Of course, now the trail is coming to an end and Hateno's condition is worsening. Get that in order, okay? Why was Hateno injured? Everyone think about it. Why did she get hurt? You saw it. She was hurt by a wire trap in the leg. Think about it. Who installed the wire trap? When does this come into place? I mean, the killer must have installed it. Installed it? That's it. In other words, your opinion is that the suspected killer, meaning Tyra, installed the wire trap, right? Now, wait a second. I've never installed anything like that. Why would I aim for Hayame? That doesn't really mean you can't, though. Wait a minute. Tyra installed the wire trap? The wire trap is there, but when was it installed? When was the wire installed? I don't know exactly what's on the wire, but I can guess because I was there when Hateno was injured. Hateno was trying to grab something at that time. The wire was installed along the way to serve as the bait for it. And the wire must have been installed as soon as the object was placed. That object wasn't there, at least until that point. So then when was the top wire installed? It had to have been after the investigation. But why? Yeah, that's true. Why was that whole why? I'm so confused. This trial is so complicated. I'm losing my mind. It's good though, but like, holy fuck, dude. This is chapter 2. When the wire was installed, it was probably immediately after starting the investigation. I believe so. Is there a good reason for that opinion? The wire is not visible, so isn't visible. So the exact installation time of the wire itself is unknown, but by other elements it can be inferred. Actually, Hateno wasn't just hurt. When she was injured, I know I was right next to them, but Hateno was injured by the wire while approaching to find and investigate some kind of object, and she got caught in the trap. Hateno, do you remember? Perhaps, are you referring to the burnt flashlight? Yeah, there was no such thing in the corner when I found the body with everyone in the power room, but it was thereafter the investigation started. Ah, in other words, the killer used the flashlight as bait to induce someone to get caught in the wire trap? If so... They set the flashlight and installed the wire at the same time, immediately after the investigation began. So yeah, basically, yes, what it's saying. Yeah, it's right after the start of the investigation, right? The wire was installed shortly after the investigation began. Yamaguchi? It's strange. This is weird. Weird. Is it not weird? Why is the son yelling? Everyone open your ears and listen. If Tyra is the culprit, it means Tyra installed the wire right after the investigation started. Yes, but... That's impossible! Why, you ask? It's because Tyra was with me! You were with Tyra? Surely... Then there was a relationship? Can you stop that? Don't put a joke like that at a time like this. Huh? Does that mean... I know this exactly because Tyra was in the same place I was, and we didn't do anything. What? How can you say that you didn't do anything so proudly? No, what I mean is, I was going to do some investigation, but I seldom made progress, so... Anyway, that's not what's important. It's Tyra's story. I swear to you, Tyra has been stuck in one spot since everyone gathered to the power room until the trial announcement came out. What? Is that for real? Apart from anything else, there was only one spot that was inefficient, even if you did a little investigation. I want to hear why. Why didn't you mention this, Tyra? No, it was shocking that Kazuna died. Did any of us do that? Even so, everyone participated in the investigation, but that is not a reason. Doesn't really matter. What's important than that now, Tyra didn't do anything at the time of the investigation, meaning she couldn't install the wire, right? Yeah, that's why I said it's weird. Then Tyra is not the killer? Oh my god, we're back to square one, baby! Woo! Going in that circle of motion. Okay. We're all going in a circle. I mean, I've been trying to say that from the very beginning. But what's called a maid? Are we wrong with the interpretation? It's not just that. Tyra lied. She's still suspect no matter how we continue. But then that happens, you can't explain the wire trap. What's going on? I think my head will be weird if it gets twisted anymore. Can't we stop this already? If you want to die, do it. I won't stop you. It's definitely weird. Apart from being simply contradictory, logically, it's playing itself separately, as if several incidents seem to be a gathering event. Why? What's missing? It's as if the contradictions don't stop to conclude that Tyra is the culprit. But there doesn't seem to be any different direction in the case. What is the truth of this case? If Tyra isn't the culprit, what have we been doing so far for? You mean it was all good for nothing? But if that's the case, then who is the culprit? Who do we vote for? I can't keep going. We keep hitting dead ends. Even in the midst of this, Hateno's leg injury must be getting worse. Well, I'll say this. Other than Tyra, is there not another suspicious person? Who's that? Kurakawa. What? Why Kurakawa? I don't understand it because of the dying message and the wire installed, but Kurakawa suddenly disappeared during the investigation. Isn't she suspicious to anyone? Looking at it, the broadcast announcing the start of the class trial rang, but we gathered quite late and Monokuma brought her. Didn't Kinjo mention this? He said that he had suspects in mind. Tyra, who's been attracting attention as a high-level suspect, is not the culprit. Will the other suspect, Kurakawa, who's the next suspicious person, naturally be her? Wait a second. It is true that Kurakawa was late, but she disappeared during the investigation. What disappeared during the investigation was investigated by Kurakawa's own way. It was Kurakawa's discovery that the kitchen knife was actually gone from the kitchen. But even if they were investigating, still why arrive late? I was curious from the start of the trial. I want to know the reason of being late, even if you're not the culprit. Kurakawa, you're not a killer, right? Please answer us, don't be uneasy. I'm not the culprit. The reason for being late, I can't tell you now. After the trial, I'll tell you why. If it was for a good reason, isn't there no reason to hide it? Why can't you tell us? The more you hide it, the more suspicious it gets. I'm sorry, but trust me, I'm not the killer. Regardless of the reason, isn't it a little too much to say that Kurakawa is the culprit? She doesn't seem to have anything to do with the dying message. It would have been possible to install the wire, however. Whoa, but there's no other way. This is impossible. She's impossible. It's all possibilities again. Who's the killer then? Even if it's a ghost, it's not impossible. Ha, you really are fools without answers. Shouldn't you be aware of this? Huh? What do you mean? What? That's the truth of the case. I told you, didn't I? I said I wouldn't help you people. Once it's a trial with my life at stake, if there's no answer, I'll solve it. So in other words, you are idiots with no answer to the extent that I have to come out like this. Damn it, Makaru is destroying us! Makaru's attitude is sarcastic, but I think she knows something. Makaru may give us a clue about the situation that we cannot overcome alone. When you look at the goals for your reasoning, I can see how hard your brains are. To put it simply, you are fools who try to solve the same solution without thinking of any other method where no other problem was solved. I don't... that... Thank you for your kind summary of description, but what do you know yourself? If the same method doesn't work, you should know how to challenge it using a new method. Understood, child? But what do you mean by new method? It means throwing away stereotypes. Oh my, when it's so quiet, you finally open your mouth, psycho police. This is not a problem if the best young police officer in Japan gets slower answers than a professor. It doesn't matter, but I guess it's all a competition for you. Let's just say it's not. There's nothing to be gained from this charade. There's something sparkling between you two. But what's this? That mean? Stereotypes to throw it away? Did you both find out something? I'll apologize first. When the trial happened, I was about to be overthrown by the killer because of the misinterpretation of the case. But I deserved it. I was guessing to some extent, but I didn't think the case would be so twisted. It was twisted? It's natural to say you guys made it public. This case is simple. There's a criminal, and that criminal killed the victim. If you tried to solve it, there will be contradictions. Then, wait a minute. So then this isn't a murder case? No, it is a murder. It's clearly malevolent, but do you recall what I mentioned earlier? An ordinary murder case would be difficult to solve if you think of it as a simple step-by-step scenario. While investigating before the trial, I guessed the outline frame, but at that point, I couldn't confirm this either. However, as the trial progressed, Tyra's reactions and the dying message being solved, a truth was reached. To be precise, the riddle that has been solved so far was one that derived from a clue, but what's the truth about it? To put this simply, this crime is not a case where there's one culprit and one victim being mentioned. What? Not one culprit, not one victim? So you mean there was an accomplice? But didn't Monokuma say that accomplices had no advantage? No, it's a bit ambiguous to call it an accomplice. What is certain is that a third party, other than the criminal, was clearly involved. The third party? Who was it? You, Akane. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, let's continue. Sorry for the pause. I went to go eat. Tyra was the third party? Is that different from a culprit or accomplice? For starters, I like to see it like that. As you guys said, if you're a criminal, you have to install a wire trap. But Tyra herself couldn't afford it because of Yamaguchi. He also saw Tyra stand still during that time. Then Akane no longer needs to be questioned, right? No, wait a minute. I'm really sorry, but I still don't get it. If Tyra isn't the culprit, I don't know why the dying message points to the maid. And she even lied to us. That's why I told you, Tyra is a third party in this case. What? I'm as confused as Hiro. I'm lost. I'm just like completely lost. It's not a culprit, it's different from an accomplice, but it's obviously a third party who was heavily involved in the case. Maybe she's not even aware of it. The woman's personality is showing her heart on her face. It's proof that the maid lied and wrote the dying message, lying to everyone here. Wait, she wrote the dying message? Why? What the fuck? Seems by your facial expression you don't understand it. Okay, before discussing the real criminal, let's begin with a question about it. I'm so confused. What is going on? Tyra isn't just a suspect, she's a third party. I'm not sure what that means. Neither do I, Hiro. Neither do I, Haru. I'm lost. According to your reasoning, at first glance, Tyra Akane looks like the culprit. But for Tyra Akane to put the wire trap is not possible. There's a contradiction. In fact, it's okay to say that your reasoning in return is the correct answer. Rookie mistake. Someone clean up this mess. In the first place, being a third party, doesn't that mean there is a third person besides the criminal and the victim? 3 or more people were involved in the crime. Is there any evidence to prove this? Kendra said Tyra was in the culprit of this case by a third party. Kendra wouldn't say that for no reason. It's true that Tyra was suspicious. But if Tyra is a third party, it means that 3 people were involved in the case, including the killer and the victim. Oh, the flashlights! Yeah, we know that. Oh, fucking. Okay. Okay. No, Uruhara, wait. There was evidence of 3 people involved in the crime. What would that be? A flashlight, of course. There was one more flashlight. What do you mean there was one more? Hateno, that flashlight you were trying to pick up. Oh, that's why Hateno injured her leg on the wire. That flashlight, right? But what does it mean when you say there was one more? I think there were some people who haven't seen it. Let me tell you, in the Switchium, there were 2 broken flashlights. By the way, Maeda, other than those 2, the 3rd flashlight. On the day the 2nd floor was opened, everyone saw it while investigating, right? It's a dark place where the switch doesn't light up. Without a flashlight, nothing is visible. And the fact that Tamori died, there would have been something to do with the Switchium. In that case, she must have brought a flashlight. So one of the 3 flashlights would have to be the one Tamori brought. And if you don't see anything, murder is not possible. It means that the culprit killed Tamori inside the Switchium, and the culprit also took a flashlight. So the 2nd flashlight was brought by the killer. Huh? Hey, wait a minute. Who is the owner of the 3rd flashlight? That's right. Maeda explained it very well. The Switchium is a not known place, and there's nothing visible. So naturally, you expect to carry a flashlight in order to get there. Even if I went, I would need my flashlight back once I'm done with my business. There's no reason to leave it behind. Wasn't this the aftermath of a struggle between the criminal and Tamori? One moment. Isn't that just by reasoning alone? Unless there's 0% chance that someone forgot it and left it in the past, it wouldn't be clear. No, Urahara, there's evidence that all 3 flashlights are involved in the incident. As Kinjo said, 2 flashlights were broken, and the last one, it was burnt. Correct, it's a flashlight before it got caught in the fire. That's the flashlight that was on the scene. And now you realize, is there a fool who still doesn't understand? According to your inference, the fact that the case involved 3 people was the adequate basis of this case. I had no idea. You must not have known. Probably the killer tried to use Tyra. Really? What does that mean? We've come this far, so I wonder if it's okay to reveal it. I called Tyra a third party, but this doesn't mean that you simply witnessed or helped the killer. What is it then? How Tyra was involved in this incident. By the time, everyone might have noticed. Not the culprit, but the executioner. Is it appropriate to call them like this? Eh? What? What's an executor? No way that fits Tyra stabbing Tamori. I guess she didn't even do it? That's right. There's a criminal who killed her breath with a critical hit. But it was probably Tyra who made Tamori moribund. What? I'm so what is this fucking translation, dude? That makes no fucking sense. What? That's a lie. Tyra did... Kinjo, wait a minute. Hey, don't you know what I'm talking about? Tyra Akane, you're also a criminal who committed attempted murder, you bloody bitch. What? No, wait a second. What is this so suddenly? Hey, is Tyra the executioner? What's wrong, Kobashikawa? You said you couldn't admit that Tyra wasn't the culprit. No, rather than being able to admit it, but why did Tyra... yeah, I don't know what it means that there's another criminal who inflicted a critical hit, though she was an executioner in the first place. I can't believe that Akane did this. If you dishonor Akane without a compelling reason, I cannot forgive you. That's right, Tyra's would never do something like that. Starting again. Didn't people say that they can't know just by looking at them? Oh, you think Taira Akane is not one to do that. After all, you just don't know enough about her. But why didn't she tell me? Why would Akara stab Tamori at the verge of death? How did that happen? You've already let that go, didn't you? We let her go? You don't mean... Yes, the evidence that Taira Akane personally injured Tamori Kazuna is exactly what you suspect. Dying message pointing to the maid. Taira Akane's suspicious lie. Why wasn't she the culprit of the direct murder? It was also solved by you. Simple, isn't it? That woman didn't have time to install the wire. What? I'm so confused. This translation is so fucking bad. Like, I'm just confused. Like, I don't know what he means. Does he mean she stabbed Kazuna in the throat and then wrote the message? Or she stabbed... What? Everyone looks like you can't understand. Sorry, but besides this, there is evidence that Taira committed a murder attempt. Well, is there any other evidence? No, Kinjo is right. There's evidence I can only think of. Might even you? Why? I'd love to think that, but as Kinjo says, it's all true. I knew it too. Look at the scene of the incident. There were traces of others who couldn't exist. The traces were probably left by Taira. The images in my memory, there's one definitive clue. Yes. Spot selection. Images of photos in your memory will begin to appear. Look for the places that contain the answer to your current topic. It's this, right? The blood? Remember what we discussed earlier about why the killer started the fire? The fire was used to heat the glass window and break it remotely to make us think the killer was inside the switchium and smash the glass to escape, right? Yeah, and in fact, we almost got caught in that trap and confused our reasoning. Now we were talking about why Taira was involved in the case. And carefully. The killer's purpose was to make us think they broke the glass. Why is there a blood spot at the entrance? Bloodstain at the entrance? Is that so? A bloodstain like walking out of the switchium? That's evidence from a third party that's different from the criminal's intentions. Was that from a struggle? Maybe it's just Tamori's blood. Tamori went out of the switchium while bleeding. The power room outside should have been filled with blood spots, don't you think so? Does that mean the blood spot was after coming out of the switchium because it was dark then? There were 2 broken flashlights inside the switchium. If it were broken during a struggle, you wouldn't know that the blood would splatter in the dark after you stabbed Tamori. Well, then the blood traces come from Akane? Wait a minute. After the killer attacked Tamori, they could have set off the fire after walking out towards the entrance without knowing that the blood was on it, right? In this way, there's no room for Taira to intervene. Hey, Inori, I'm sorry, but that's also impossible. The one who killed Tamori by killing her definitively probably didn't splash a drop of blood on their body. Because maybe the real killer used that tool to prevent the blood from bleeding right before they stabbed Tamori. Tool was... I'm so lost. I'm gonna be honest, guys, the translation is, like, making this so hard to follow. They use, like, words I don't understand more about, it's just not clear. It's not, like, clear grammatically, and it's really annoying, but I'm trying. I'm understanding the gist of it, it's just the specifics I'm not, and it's starting to confuse me. So, Akane was the one who stabbed them in the stomach and then left? Or they were the one who stabbed them in the throat? Then Akane's the killer? This? Actually, there was a piece of cloth covered in blood in the corner of the switchium. Oh, bloody. This is... Right, anyone planning a murder must be concerned about the bleeding. Probably they used it on Tamori, without a drop of blood on their own body. If a real culprit uses it and murders Tamori, there's no reason for a blood smear on the entrance. What, did she really... Are you saying Akane stabbed Tamori? I can't believe it. Why did Taira do that? Taira, no matter what you did in the end, there's a separate, real criminal who directly killed Tamori other than you. You're not treated as a real criminal in this trial. If you admit to the crime, you won't be executed. So tell me with your own mouth, did you really do it, and why? I'm sorry. What the fuck? So she did the stomach stab? What? Then someone came in after her and then set the wire. What? But then who set the wire trap? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh my god, this is so confusing. Ah. Are you sorry? Then it's really true? You guys are right. I'm the one. I stabbed Kizuna. What? I'm not particularly sympathetic, but I'm curious. Why'd you do that? Kizuna, no, Tamori, because she was a human being who had no choice but to die. What are you talking about? It was Tyra herself that most offended Tamori, didn't you? I'm sorry, it's just in case I was found out. I just made an excuse and got scared. That must have been it. Actually, you seem to believe that you were the real culprit. But I want you to believe in this. I never decided to kill and stab Kizuna. What does that mean? You didn't stab with murder intention, but after that remark, you seem to despise Tamori. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Let me give you an explanation. I'm not sure about Makaru and Urahara know. I'm not sure how Makaru and Urahara know this. But the day after the motives came out, we all went to persuade Kizuna. Actually, Kizuna was also in loneliness, and she tried to convince herself because she knew it deep down. I finally opened my heart to Kizuna, and we hugged, and I finally thought we became friends truly. But that evening, Kizuna had something to talk about, so she called me to the Switchium. I took a flashlight and went there. Kizuna, are you here? Right here, Tyra. Kizuna, I know you wanted to talk about something, but why in such a dark place? Yeah, no one's coming here, right? Oh, no, I don't think so. So what did you want to talk about? Yeah, that's right. I'm too scared now. What? Scared? Why? You know, the motives given by Monokuma, remember? Our secrets are written in there. It seems like you all threw it away, but I got no clue whose I stumbled upon in the trash. Someone's secret. Do you want to see? First look at the contents. What? What is this? Yuki Maeda may actually know the identity of the mastermind? What? What the fuck? What is happening? What is happening? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Miyuki's shocked. Maeda, is that true? No, I'm just a normal student. You're not lying, right? You're not actually playing with us while you know about them, do you? Stop it. Now it's not the time to reproach each other. Yeah, the message is surprising, but it's urgent we hear Tyra's testimony. Tyra, resume at once. Okay. I can't trust Yukyun as long as I see that. It's not just that. Knowing the mastermind, they might play with us and try to kill us later. No, Maeda wouldn't do that. False. You don't know people by just looking at them. Mitsuhiro did the same. Remember? Then what do you want to do, even if you tell the others? No, that's not the case. Yeah? Then we can kill him with our hands. What? The reason I called you is actually this. Aren't you close to you? Wouldn't you be able to take him out? You know what you're talking about? Listen, I have a good idea, if you can only help me. Otherwise, how can I kill you without being noticed by someone? First of all, I brought the preparations. The fuse, lighter, and finally a knife. Once you pick up Yuki and call him somewhere, I'll stab him with the knife. I'm not talking about that. I asked if you were serious. If you kill, you'll die in a trial. That's when the killer is stupidly caught. Did you forget that the only way to get out from here is to murder someone? So first help me. If my murder is successful, I'll help you. What do you think? Let's get out together. Are you crazy? Why do I want to murder? What? Don't you want to get out of here? I want to go out, but doing that at the expense of another's life. That's it then. I'm the only one who wants to go outside more than anyone here. I'm not a human being who will rot in this place. Why should I? A bright future awaits me once I get out of this place. Actually, I got everything ready after those 2 days from the previous class trial. I also brought these tools early today. I'm going to kill this traitor. Wouldn't be less guilty to kill a bad guy, right? You better think and join me here. What are you saying? Being prepared for a murder since the second day? Then you didn't open up to us. Huh? Oh my god, this stupid bitch. Of course I was acting. Did you think I'm gonna go and fall for that crappy event? I can't. Alright, so you just do what I tell you to do. Know that you were lucky that I chose you. Please bring Yuki here by tomorrow morning. No, I hate it. Why should I help murder? And I can't believe that Maeda is such an evil person. It's obviously Monokuma's lie. Anyway, I'm not going to help you. And Kizuna, please wake up and don't do this. If you are with us, I'm sure we can find a way. Oh, okay, you. What? Well, I didn't expect you to cooperate from the start with the murder. Because you didn't, I have to change the target as planned. What are you... Oh. My god. Holy shit. Akane's face. Holy shit. Hey, Kizuna? You dodged it. Why are you doing this, Kizuna? Why are you asking? I'm trying to kill you. Kizuna! You already knew I was going to kill you, remember? I can't keep you alive. It's a pity that you can't kill Yuki, but it doesn't matter if you can't get out of here. Someone save me! Is that true? Tamori tried to kill Akane first? Even so, before the motives came out, she just made up her mind to kill someone, and all the appearances she showed us were an act? Yeah, Kizuna was that kind of person. So, you felt in danger of your own life and attacked Tamori in self-defense? No, that's not right. Listen, I didn't really intend to stab Tamori in self-defense, or any of the sort. Then why did you... Tamori ran to kill you. What happened after that? I noticed that Kizuna was serious, and I was too scared. I tried to run for it. Then I was pushed down by Kizuna and fell over. And I tried to resist somehow, and the flashlights we were holding broke each other. That was when the two broken flashlights were broken in the switch room. I couldn't see anything because of the flashlight broken. I was right next to Kizuna with the knife. I was really scared and tried to resist with my whole body. Honestly, I think it was pure luck that I didn't get hit by the knife. But by the way, suddenly Kizuna at one point became really quiet, and that's when I took my chance to get out of the switchium. You got out? Okay, you stabbed Tamori while resisting without knowing it. And when I looked at my hands in a bright place, I see a lot of blood. There's a lot of red on my clothes. I got in a panic, didn't look behind me, got out of the power room and ran to the bathroom to wipe the blood. This was the last what happened. I was wiping it with water until the smell of blood was washed away, but then the announcement came out. I thought Kizuna was the one whom I stabbed, was found, so my vision became white. After that, when I went to the power room, there was a fire for some reason, and the switchium was all messed up. Other than yourself, there was someone else who touched the scene of the crime. Did you think it was you who killed her? That's not it. What happened was... That's how the events are connected. This is all I know about the case. I never meant to stab Kizuna with evil intentions. Whatever the reason, good or bad, once you look at the results, they are Taira Akane stabbed Tamori Kizuna. That is a fact. You cannot change its meaning for whatever reason you might say. But you said I wasn't the culprit. Yes, you just stabbed her, like I said. There's another killer who caused the fire and the final blow. The trial settles safely. It'll be the real criminal, not you, who's going to be executed. So, your sins will be laid aside after the trial is over. Don't think you'll just go over it. Now wait a second, it still was an accident, wasn't it? Besides, if Tamori hadn't been stabbed, then Taira would have died. That's right, don't be too forceful with them. Taira herself is more distressed than anyone else. I'm sorry. Hey, second to the fact that it was a crime or forced assault, the trial isn't over yet, right? Now that we know the case, we need to find the true culprit. So let's not get excited just yet, children. Fine, let's talk about this later, because the trial is the most important thing now. Oh, what the fuck? We're just, it's just a whole fucking smorgasbord. Akane, don't blame yourself too much. Because in the end, you survived. For the most part, I think it's best outcome that Akane lived. Isn't it important to be alive? Ayame, thank you. Now then, let's organize the case based on Tyra's words. Tamori tried to plan a killing a few days ago, and she called Tyra. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? I have no idea, dude. To switch him to plan her crime with them, and tried to kill Tyra in the process. But her plan failed. She died. That is the whole story of case. Hey, you stay still. There's a bit of mental ferocity in there. Now then, let's do a little summary. First, the number of people involved in this case are 3. One is the victim, Kazuna Tamori. The next person is a criminal, who has not been identified yet. And the last one is a third party, Tyra Akane. Tamori, who wanted to leave here as soon as possible, planned a murder, before even the motives came out. Her rebellion was just an excuse for Tamori. For the first time, she attempted to make Tyra join forces in this crime. If Tamori worked with someone, it would have been easy for her to escape, but Tyra refused. As expected, she tried to get rid of Tyra, the one who heard her plan, and leave no traces behind. However, the attack missed, and in return there was an accident where the knife ended up stabbing Tamori while tangled up in the dark. Tyra was surprised that she stabbed her, and then she ran to the bathroom. But when she heard the announcement that the body was found, she went back to the power room, and there were things like the fire that she hadn't even done, so Akane was confused at that time. So then, in the end, the killer made use of Tyra's talent and put the blame on her in order to make us vote for her? Yeah, there were 3 people involved, so the case was so complicated as it is. By the way, no matter what happened this far, this would mean that she's not the culprit of this case, right? But then, who is the real culprit? The true culprit. The true culprit's identity. Ah! Uranami, what is it? Did you figure out something? Nope, it's just amazing that Kurakawa is just very active in participating in the conversation. Are you serious? I have to say, there are already hints about the real culprit. What? Who is it? Really? Who is it? In general, there is no one who does not have a noticeable alibi other than Tyra. In other words, it is possible for anyone to commit the crime. However, there's only one of us who has lied all the situations to their advantage. Yes, and very precisely, may I add. Is there someone like that? Who on earth? Surely it's not Tyra. There's someone who has taken advantage of the circumstances of the case with too ridiculous timing, that it could be simply a coincidence at first glance. Think about it. The fire was not caused by Tyra. Then obviously, the real culprit set the fire. But don't you think there's something amiss? When you leave a fire, the corpse would need to be burned, and you don't know when it could be found. But Hateno actually found it. Yes, Hateno found it. Well, if that's the case, the wire matters too, even if you install a wire trap as bait for a burnt flashlight in the corner. There is a possibility that no one will find it, and it could end up just there, right? But it didn't because... Huh? Isn't something a little weird? What does the sighting between the fire and the wire have in common? If you think about it, you will see the answer. So let all situations to their own advantage. The person who led the case so that they could solve it on their own accord. Only one person in doubt. They are strong enough to instigate most of the incident. First time they noticed the fire and the wire trap. No, why? I have to stop thinking about that. Main thing is that they did this job. Okay. If you don't find out the truth, then we all will die. Wait, is it her? Oh no, it's her actually? Dude, what? It's her after all? What? As Kinjo said, there was only one person, only someone who can move the situation to their advantage. That person is Hateno, you. What? Now what are you... Maida, did you get tired? The culprit was the one who hurt Hateno's leg. What if Hateno's the culprit? She was aiming her own leg? Nonsense! It'd be more reliable to say that I'm the one that's crazy. That's quite true. Please don't mess with me, Maeda. No matter what, Ayame being the culprit is... That's right. Kinjo doesn't stand still and say something. Don't stand still and say something. Maeda seems to be losing it now. No, that incompetent made a very precise reasoning. Don't you agree? The culprit is Ayame Hatano. She must be. I'm not exactly denying it, but I don't have a clear picture. Can you at least clarify why you believe so? It's because of a few reasons Hatano is suspect. The true culprit of this case is not strange to any of us. The reason is because Tyra pulled the ceremony of the incident, and the killer was only a light maneuver in the scene. All of our alibis are also in the dark, and there was contradictions no matter who you put as a killer. However, that's why Hatano's actions were. Hatano's behavior made Hatano's behavior even more unnatural. What are you talking about? The killer made an alibi trick by building a fire and finishing Tomori herself, in which Tyra couldn't. Till here, everyone understands, right? Then here, who was the first to discover the fire? What do you think? That was... Tenno? But there's no way to call someone a culprit with just that. You shut up, secondhand killer. It's not just that. Even though the corpse was found, the killer installed a wire trap as if aiming at someone. And who was the person who discovered this first? That was also Hateno too. Let's think. At best, she made an alibi trick if someone else found it first. She made an alibi trick. If someone else found it first, there would be too many dangerous variables. But if you set a fire, you can create the best situation you want. Are you referring to the situation where the criminal himself is putting off the fire with other people? That's right, because the original purpose of the killer's fire was to break the glass in heat, to make someone think that a person escaped. If the killer was with other people in that situation, they would have their own alibi. Oh, it's a crappy trick, so I didn't even doubt it from the beginning. In addition, Hateno would have had enough time to install the wire. Listening to Tyra's story, Tomori brought all the tools, so you could use them in the arms of the dead Tomori. Then, no, but Ayame... Well, there must be something wrong with that. I mean, it could be a coincidence. Hateno is the culprit, just like that? Why is the person who was picked up being silent, but the others are noisy? Hey, why are you being quiet? Are you exercising your right to remain silent? Or do you think this is a joke? It's just that it's so absurd that you've left me speechless. I'm still standing here and I'm being treated as a criminal. I mean, this isn't funny, Ayame. You can't be the culprit. Oh? Anything to object to, then? Of course. You don't seem to realize it yet. I'll tell you why I can't be the killer. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Why can't you be the culprit? Okay, it looks like you guys are missing one thing in particular. Tomori's time of death. Do you remember it? Time of death. Was it not specified in the Monokuma file? Was it not specified? Sorry, wrong voice. Ah, correct. 9:30 p.m. It said around that time, right? Huh? Isn't that weird? Yeah, around 9:30 p.m. I was putting the fire with Kinjo, out the fire with Kinjo and the others. Accurately, that's true. So what happened? Tomori might have told someone to meet at 9:30 p.m. and she was stabbed in surprise. At the time she was still dead. I didn't see anyone. I can't be the culprit. But finally, 9:30 p.m. Then Hateno was an alibi. Something so unnatural about it. If they died at that time, the crime would be impossible for anyone. So the Monokuma file doesn't tell lies. She reminds me of what's been said before. It's gotta be that. Correct. Oh, I fucking fucked it up. It must be that. Okay, I did it. Almost didn't get it. Hateno, is that really so? What? Is this your opinion, Hateno? Because the time of death is 9:30 p.m., the culprit killed Tamori by stabbing Tamori at 9:30 p.m. Of course, Tamori's death is stabbed in the neck as a reminder. It must have been an instant death at the moment. But that's not the case. Huh? Even if you argue that Hateno's words are true at first glance, after putting some consideration to the circumstances, at that time the killer was not already inside the switchium. Maeda is right. You have no choice but to you have no choice. This is a problem you solved earlier, right? When the timer fire started to ignite, Tamori must have been stabbed by her knife. Yeah, otherwise the alibi trick of breaking a window remotely would be meaningless. But then what happened to Tamori's time of death? No matter how much you think about Tamori's death at 9:30 p.m., it makes no sense. Everyone listen carefully. From here on out, the reasoning behind this is a little mixed, meaning perhaps Tamori, before Hateno discovered the fire, it may have been already around 9 o'clock with a knife on her neck. What? Super grotesque! That's far-fetched, Maeda. Are you really thinking about it? Are you able to prove that a human being can live for 30 minutes with a throat pierced? I don't really believe it either, but I'm not saying this for no reason. There's evidence that Tamori survived that long. First thing I came to think of this was because of Inori. Thanks a lot. Me? That was when Inori was investigating, wasn't it? Remember what you said to me after examining Tamori's body? What should I say? It's a terrible amount of bleeding. Humans die of excessive bleeding. When about 1/3 of the blood volume flows out, but this is not about 1/3, as you can see. It's amazing that even this amount of blood came out. The wound on the neck is definitely fatal, but should have coagulated to some extent, and the amount of bleeding should have gradually decreased if the heart stops beating. So you're saying something else produced the mass bleeding? No, I cannot confirm this in my own opinion. It is rare, but if your blood pressure is strong, the amount of bleeding increases. That much I know for sure. Put simply, there are individual differences. While having a lot of bleeding in here means it took quite a while before death. Sis, Tamori must have died in a very terrible pain. Think about it. Around 9:30 p.m., Tamori had just been stabbed by a knife in her neck. She had died when we found it. The blood would not have been spread out. Of course, when we discovered it, there was still a little bleeding, but most of this started to harden. It is unnatural to say that such a deep liquid had been flowing after 9:30. That makes sense, but... Maeda, did you forget? Tamori's wound, it's not just a neck. Could it have flowed out of a stomach wound? Of course it is possible, but there's another proof that says she's been alive for a long time after being stabbed in the neck. Tamori died in a blow as soon as her throat was pierced. There was a sign that should never be there. So Tamori knew who the real killer was. Who killed them other than Taira? Such a marker was written by them. This is because of the dying message. Dying message? Didn't that story end earlier, pointing to the maid word? Yes, when I came back to it, I could see something I didn't see before. There was a big X after the word, maid. That meaning is correct, as we guessed before, not the maid. Come to think of it, was it written by Tamori? I thought Taira wrote it as a self-act. It was the reason we found in the dying message. I mentioned this before, but after seeing the blood, I just went to the bathroom right away. I couldn't afford to think about that. Yeah, it's not Taira. It's likely the former idea. Tamori wrote the word maid in her own blood to let us know. If that's the case, why is there an X next to it? It wasn't the criminal's own doing, but the reason the victim herself adds an X and writes not the maid. Ah, I see. She tried to correct the dying message as she wrote maid, because there was another person who stabbed her neck while she was writing the letters. Yes, Tamori died immediately as soon as her throat was cut. There wouldn't be a correction of the dying message, as she would have been left out of strength to muster. But even after being stabbed in the neck, her will still was living as much as she was being able to correct the message with all of her strength while holding a knife on her throat. Ah! How Tamori had a cut throat and was alive that much, I don't know. The things I said now prove that Tamori was still alive, under these conditions. Therefore, even if Tamori's time of death was 9:30 p.m., there's no evidence that you can say that you are incapable of committing this crime. It can't be. This is a lie. Ayame? Really, this is such a ridiculous story about being alive with a stabbed neck. Yame, please say something. It's hard to believe, but humans are creatures that sometimes achieve phenomena beyond. It happens sometimes even in terror scenes. Nothing strange at all. What then? Hateno, are you really the culprit? I don't know why Hateno did this. If my reasoning was wrong, it would be really weird, but there are many situations. The more I think Hateno is the culprit, the more it fits. Hateno, let me hear it from your own voice. The truth. Oh, fuck. Here we go. Wait, I can't tolerate that Hateno is the culprit. It's unacceptable. Nori, I know it's hard to believe. I can't believe it either. So if you look at Hateno's actions, you can only say that it's so suspicious that everything goes in her favor. She's not suspicious. There's a reason it wasn't suspicious. You know why Hateno is not the culprit. Fuck me, dude. This is so complicated. You have any idea Hateno's leg was hurt by the true killer? Hateno was the culprit. Are you saying she even aimed for her own leg? Why it worked for the culprit or aimed at a random person? Hateno was unfortunately caught against will. You really think so? Even if you target an unknown person, it's meaningless if it's not found. No matter how you use a flashlight as bait. Finding one in that short time, it's weird too. It's just by chance. No one person wouldn't care about their own body. The killer who wants to get out of here. There's no point hurting your own body. Hateno is not the culprit. Her own leg. I did the wrong thing. Shit, I accidentally messed it up. I meant to switch it. Yeah, we gotta progress, and then we gotta swing it. The translation is really getting to me sometimes. It's really hard to understand what they mean. What? I pressed shift, dude. Why did it not work? Sorry, I have to redo this. I'm gonna die. Dude, I don't want to die and redo all of that, man. I accidentally did the wrong thing. I messed up. Bro, I don't want to do this, man. Bro. How far is this back? I'm just gonna do this on a new part. I'll start the new part where on the sword thing, sorry. See you then.